The lines of magic reached my feet. They wove like vines up the Avatar's legs until I was tangled to the waist. They squeezed against my shielding, draining my magic, and I heard Menshnikov's voice forcing its way into my mind. "Snake," the voice whispered, "you are a slithering reptile." I fought back my terror. I'd been turned into an animal against my will once before, and it was the one of the worst experiences of my life. This time it was happening in slow motion. The combat avatar fought to maintain its form, but Menshnikov's magic was strong. The glowing white vines kept rising, encircling my chest. I swiped at Menshnikov with my crook. The invisible force hooked him around the neck and lifted him off the ground. "Do it," he choked out. "Show me your power, godling." I raised my flail. One good hit and I could smash Vlad Menshnikov like a bug. "Won't matter," he gasped, clawing at his neck. "Spell will defeat you anyway. Show us you're a murderer, Kane." I glanced at Zia. Her face was terrified, and I hesitated too long. The white vines encircling my arms. The combat avatar crumpled to its knees, and I dropped Menshnikov. Pain racked my body. My blood turned cold. The avatar's limbs shrank, the hawk's head slowly changing into the head of a serpent's. I could feel my heart slowing, my vision darkening. The taste of venom filled my mouth. Zia cried out, "Stop it! This is too much!" "On the contrary," Menshnikov said, rubbing his chafed neck, "he deserves worse. Chief Lector, you saw how this boy threatened you. He wants Pharaoh's throne. He must be destroyed." Zia tried to run to me, but Desjardins held her back. "Discontinue the spell, Vladimir," he said. "The boy can be contained in more humane ways." "Humane, my lord? He's barely human." The two magicians locked eyes. I don't know what would have happened, but just then a portal opened under Bess's cage. I'd seen plenty of portals, but none like this. The whirlpool opened level with the ground, sucking down a trampoline-sized area of red sand, dead fish, old lumber, pottery shards, and one glowing fluorescent cage containing a dwarf god. As the cage entered the vortex, the bars broke into splinters of light. Bess unfroze, found himself halfway submerged in sand, and did some creative cursing. Then my sister and Walt shot up and out of the portal, suspended horizontally as if they were running towards the sky. Then gravity took over. They waved their arms and fell back to the sand. They might have been pulled under, except Bess grabbed them both and managed to haul them out of the whirlpool. Bess dumped them on the ground. Then he turned to Vlad Menshnikov, planted his feet, and ripped off his Hawaiian shirt and shorts like they were made of tissue. His eyes blazed with anger. His Speedo was embroidered with the words "Dwarf Pride," which was something I really did not need to see. Menshnikov only had time to say, "How?" "Boo!" yelled Bess. The sound was like a blast from an H-bomb, or a U-bomb for ugly. The ground shook, the river rippled. My avatar collapsed, and Menshnikov's spell dissolved with it. The venom taste in my mouth subsiding, the pressure lifting so I could breathe again. Sadie and Walt were already on the ground. Zia had quickly backed away, but Menshnikov and Desjardins got a full blast of ugly right in their faces. Their expressions turned to astonishment, and they disintegrated on the spot. After a moment of shock, Zia gasped, "You killed them!" "Nah," Bess dusted off his hands. "Just scared them back home. They may be unconscious for a few hours while their brains try to process my magnificent physique, but they'll live. More important," he scowled at Sadie and Walt, "you two had the nerve to anchor a portal on me? Do I look like a relic?" Sadie and Walt wisely did not answer that. They got to their feet, brushing off the sand.